Today we're driving the all-new 2022 Volkswagen Taos. I have a front-wheel drive SEL car here. It is $32,685 MSRP. It's a pretty nice overall package. For a subcompact crossover, it's very spacious on the inside, tons of interior room. It almost feels like it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And Volkswagen's doing a pretty nice job with their packaging these days, and this new Taos is a great representation of that. Let's walk you around this new vehicle. We'll show you what it's like inside and out. We'll take it for a drive. We did already do a first impressions review on the all-wheel drive SEL with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. This has an 8-speed auto. The front-wheel drive cars have 8-speed automatics and torsion beam rear suspensions, whereas the 7-speed dual clutch all-wheel drive cars have a multi-link rear suspension. So a little bit different dynamics, probably better ride quality with a multi-link design, but very curious to see the differences. We do have a lower load floor in this rear hatch area with this front-wheel drive car. There's no all-wheel drive system back there. We can get a little bit more loading height, though the disadvantage, as you can see, is that you don't have a flat surface. There may be accessories or ways to kind of prop this up so you do have a flat surface, but in this test car, nothing like that. We do get a compact spare tire, which is very nice, and of course there's your subwoofer right down there. This has the Premium Beats audio system, which we did do a sound system test in the all-wheel drive car. So if you want to see the sound system test, check out that video. These are the 18-inch wheels on our test car. Let's show you guys the back seat because it is surprisingly spacious back here. No panoramic sunroof in this front-wheel drive SEL, though we do get a ton of legroom. I can stretch out my legs under the seat at my 5'10" driving position. Pretty impressive, pretty amazing. We get one USB-C port back here, lots of space, a very comfortable seating arrangement, a nice greenhouse. These subcompact crossovers are kind of like the new hatchbacks. They offer so much utility and so much space and value and capability that I can see why a lot of people are no longer buying sedans. I think Volkswagen's done a nice job with this new Taos. It does what they needed it to do. It slots in just under the Volkswagen Tiguan, a little bit smaller. We've got a fully digital gauge cluster there. Very nice, looks good. Buttons and knobs for everything. None of these capacitive touch buttons like we had earlier this month in the Volkswagen ID4. Dials and knobs for our climate control. Love it. Big fan of the ergonomics. This is a very easy car to use and live with. The infotainment has some funny menus, but for the most part, everything is a physical button that you need to use. You can go in and adjust your sound settings, your equalizer for the Beats audio system. Apple CarPlay is relatively easy to access. It's a reasonably responsive, nice-looking screen. You get a bunch of info in the center display. You can customize this to whatever you want. Auto up-down windows in all 4 corners. Good storage solutions, nice visibility, pretty thin A-pillar, low door frames, a little bit of storage down there. I like these seats too. Kind of have a nice feel to them. This does have heated seats, whereas the all-wheel drive SEL had heated and cooled seats, though this does retain the heated steering wheel, which I think is very nice. For $32,000, this seems like pretty good value. And in this class, the space and the practicality afforded in this Taos is very impressive. This has the 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It's actually derived from the Volkswagen Jetta. They just bored it out to make a little bit more power. It makes 158 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. It's rated for 28 miles to the gallon in the city and 36 miles to the gallon on the highway. Quite a bit more efficient in this front-wheel drive trim than the all-wheel drive car with a dual clutch. We have a very traditional Volkswagen reverse camera, kind of low res, not the best to look at, but it gets the job done. You have a pretty good idea of what's behind you. All right, let's take this Volkswagen Taos for a drive and see how it is on the road. The all-wheel drive car was really nice to drive. Kind of sprightly, kind of nimble and agile on these back roads that we're on today. very curious to see what the dynamics are like in this automatic 8-speed front-wheel drive car. Already I'm noticing a little bit smoother character off the line. That was one of my only complaints about the all-wheel drive car, is that it's a little bit sluggish to accelerate from a stop, letting those clutches work and everything kind of come together with the drivetrain. Took some time, but this automatic seems to be a lot smoother. You can hear just a little bit of turbo whistle up there. Tell we've got closer spaced gears with this 8-speed. Nice and sharp turn in. Ooh, I already like this 8-speed automatic a lot more than the dual clutch. It's just smoother, slightly better tuned, more refined, whereas the dual clutch was a little bit delayed in its shifts. This Taos kind of takes on a hatchback driving feel. It's very neutral. You can feel that short wheelbase, but the ride quality is really well composed. Stability control isn't too intrusive, and it does some work to break those inside wheels, getting you around a corner on the limit. Ride quality is excellent. I have really nice visibility. Brake pedal feels about right. Transmission's pretty responsive out of the corner. Nice quick shifts. Engine doesn't sound the best. It's a little bit whiny and worry at the upper registers, but I don't think most people who are buying this vehicle will really care about engine noise. At least they're not piping anything in. Very quiet at speed, not a lot of wind noise or road or tire noise. This isn't the smoothest pavement we have here today. Put it into sport mode. Brings the revs up to around 3,000 RPM. We've got a little bit more responsiveness from the transmission. This is a fun car to drive. It's chuckable. And I think that's all you can ask for a nice, compact city vehicle or a daily driver. I would definitely prefer something like this over a larger crossover. Something like the Atlas is just a little bit too big. The Tiguan might be, the similar price, maybe a little bit more expensive, a little bit larger. And I actually haven't driven a Tiguan. But I don't know, for what this is, this Taos drives really well. And I think it does exactly what Volkswagen needs it to do to hit this mark, to hit this category and this price point. It starts around $24,000, including destination. This one loaded up to about 32 grand. Isn't a bad buy. I do like the way the front-wheel drive car drives compared to the all-wheel drive. I think, ultimately it's going to depend on where you live, but if you don't see a lot of inclement weather, and you don't need that all-wheel drive capability for, this doesn't really have a lot of ground clearance or off-road capability, but if you don't need the all-wheel drive, the front-wheel drive is a little bit smoother. You'll save a little bit of money at the dealership and the gas pump. Let's see what the radar guided cruise control system is like. You can skip 5-mile-an-hour increments by holding this button right here. I do kind of miss Volkswagen's older cruise control stock, but I guess this makes sense with all the new driving assists. Being able to change following distance and travel assist, which will keep you centered in your lane. It's doing a pretty good job on these back roads. Telling me to take over about 15 seconds or so. You can quickly access all of your assist systems by pressing this button right here on the turn signal stalk. I like that because you can quickly turn off lane assist. Not as intrusive of a system as it is on some other Volkswagen products. On this Taos, they've done a nice job tuning all these driver assistance systems. I think this Taos offers a good overall package. It's kind of everything you need, nothing you don't. It's spacious, it's comfortable, it looks reasonably good. You've got definitely not as sleek of a design as like a Mazda CX-30 or a CX-5. Maybe not as enjoyable of a driving dynamic, but pretty darn close. And I don't know, I think this is going to be a pretty competitive vehicle. They're going to sell a lot of these things, and rightfully so. I think this is one of the better Volkswagens that I've driven recently. They did a nice job packaging it, pricing it, and putting everything together, and offering a nice overall driving experience and an efficient powertrain. I mean, this is kind of the future of what people are buying, and I can't really blame them. Between all of the usable space and practicality here, I think this new Volkswagen Taos makes for a good option for new car buyers or people who just want something around the $30,000 price point. This Beats audio system is also pretty decent. Maybe not as nice as some of Mazda's Bose systems, but I think most people will be pretty happy with it for a premium audio system. Everything in this Taos is easy to use, easy to operate. The ergonomics are very user-friendly. We don't have any real surprises or real gotchas. This is a traditional shifter. We have an electronic parking brake, dials and knobs and buttons for our climate control. Nothing is hidden in the infotainment that doesn't need to be. Ooh, let's hit another corner up here. Yeah, this front-wheel drive car drives great. It tracks really nicely out of corners. Not a lot of understeer. In sport mode here, it's holding our revs a little bit higher. Turn-in is sharp. Brake pedal feels good. I feel like I'm in a lifted hatchback. Okay, guys, well, there you go. The new Volkswagen Taos. I kind of prefer the way the front-wheel drive car drives, to be honest. I think the transmission and the powertrain is a little bit smoothed out, a little bit nicer to live with in this variant. The dual clutch is nice once you get going, but off the line it tends to kind of be a little bit delayed, and it struggles a little bit to give you the responsiveness that I think you would want in city environments or just daily driving scenarios. This 8-speed, though, is fantastic. I really do like the way this car drives. We don't get as many features. We don't get that massive panoramic sunroof or those big 19-inch wheels. But if you're willing to make some of those concessions for a slightly nicer driving experience and a lower price tag, then this could be a very good option for buyers in the coming year. Okay, guys, as always, be sure to check out our videos on Wind Your Road Magazine and Daily Motor for more on this Volkswagen Taos. If you haven't already, you can see my review on the SEL all-wheel drive Taos, and that we just posted not too long ago. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Drive safe out there. We'll see you guys later. Oh yes, the roundabout test. Nice rotation. Not a lot of understeer. There we go. We can feel stability control doing some things for us, getting us rotated around that corner. Chuckable.